of shadows. Hi my angels, it's Hailey Reese, and oh boy, do I have a story for you guys today. For today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys something that happened to me 2 nights ago that was absolutely terrifying, but not only terrifying, it was completely stupid on my behalf and on my part, and I am so blessed, appreciative, and fortunate that knowing what I know now about the situation, things didn't end up worse for me. I'm really sharing today's story as more of a cautionary tale as far as what not to do at the hour that I was out, and just overall safety in general, because I put myself in a very dangerous situation unknowingly, and it definitely could have ended a lot worse. I have no idea what I'm gonna title today's video without YouTube completely being triggered by it and without YouTube freaking out and flagging the video, but basically what wound up happening is 2 nights ago I stumbled across either some sort of a ritual or some sort of a cult, and I guess I'm just gonna have to tell the story to really outline what ended up happening step by step, but nonetheless I had put myself in a very, very dangerous position. So I guess I'll just kind of start with my life and why this situation was relevant to it, and then kind of outline to you guys this specific area that I wound up going to. So I have a little dog, for those of you who don't know. His name is Ace, and he is the best thing in the whole wide world that's ever happened to me. I love him so much. But lately, Ace has been getting very needy. I think it's because the weather is getting so much nicer. He just wants to play more, and he wants to go out more, and he wants to have fresh air in his lungs and whatever else. So lately he's been crying a lot more for me to play with him with his toys, and he's been whining to go on walks more frequently. Now, I play with my dog a lot, and I take him for a walk every single morning, if not every single morning, every other morning. And he is 7 pounds, so technically him running around and chasing a ball in the apartment is exercise enough, but I like to get him out there and sniffing new things and whatever else. But lately, Ace has had kind of a different agenda, and I've been finding myself having to walk him twice a day because he'll pull a little bit of a temper tantrum and only want to use the bathroom if I'm taking him on a walk, or he'll sit by where I keep his leash and just whine, and I'll try to see if there's anything else he wants, and he wants a walk. Now, I'm very, very blessed to be able to take him on walks whenever he needs, as long as I don't have other prior commitments. And so typically I would have no problem to put his leash on and take him out for another walk. However, for the past couple of nights, he's been choosing to want to go on a walk late at night after dark. Anything could happen anywhere you go, but my neighborhood is very quiet. There's not a lot of commotion, and I've never seen anything bad happening outside of my condo. With that being said, this is where a lot of the stupidity comes into play, because anything could happen at any given moment in time, and you can never let your guard down. But we'll get back to that. Now, near my condo, there's this big park. And when I say big, I mean big. There's a lot of field room, and there's different areas. I think there's like a ball diamond and a big park, and then surrounding it, there's a lot of trees. So it's almost like a forestry area, but in the front end of it, it's residential, if that makes any sense. The residential area being the area that I live in, and it's a very quick walk to get there. Now, I super like to bring Ace to this park specifically because Ace is a rescue, he's not always the greatest with new people or new animals. He gets very scared, and I just never want to put him in the position to ever do something or whatever. So what I like to do is I like to take him to this park because there's so much field space. I can take him off of his leash, he listens super well, and I'm able to see from a distance if someone has come into the park or if there's a kid or anything like that, and put him back on his leash or pick him back up before they get close to us. It's really nice that there's like that much space there that he can be playing in the middle, and if someone comes into the park, there's still a good like 5 to 8 minutes till they reach the area of the park that I'm in. Maybe 5 to 8 minutes is a stretch, but you know what I mean. So going back to 2 nights ago, it was around, I believe, 11 p.m., maybe later, but I'm gonna say 11 to be on the little bit earlier side. And Ace decides to start whining for a walk. I tried to distract him because ultimately it's dark out, it's late, I don't really feel like getting dressed to go out and take him for a walk, and I know that in the morning I'm gonna take him for a walk anyways. But Ace was just acting very sucky and he just really wanted to go for a walk. So I'm like, you know what? Relatively safe area, never seen anything bad happen out here, never hear of anything bad happening in this specific area. Why not take my dog to the park? Now, this is where, once again, so much stupidity comes into play here, because as a young woman with a 7-pound dog and no form of protection, it's not the smartest thing to do wandering off into a ginormous park and forest approaching midnight. But in my brain, for some stupid reason, I thought, who's gonna be out at this time? What would they want to be doing at that park besides walking their dogs, and in which case, same. But I just really truly didn't think anything of it. And unfortunately, I had done this in the past. I had taken him to the park after dark. I don't think so late at night, but I had taken him before and there was never anybody there. So I put Ace on his leash and we go to head to the park, and we're walking into the park. And one thing that I should note is I have horrible eyesight. Like, from a distance, I'm not seeing much. And especially in the dark, this park is very poorly lit, which, hello, red flag, stupidity again, but I mean, whatever. So we walk into the park and I don't see anybody or anything at first. I'm also focusing on my dog, but I did like skim the park. But one thing that I noticed is I smell what kind of smells like it could be like a bonfire, like as though somebody's having a bonfire. It was just like this smoky, fiery smell that I was smelling, but I figured that somebody in the neighborhood behind me may be having a bonfire or a fire pit or something as the weather's getting nicer. So I honestly didn't think much of it. So we continue walking into the park, and at this point, like I said, the park's super big, so we're only like a little bit into the park at this point in time, and we're still closer to the exit of this park than we are to the center of it. So we keep walking in, and that was when I start to hear what sounds like this chanting. At this point, I've let Ace off of his leash because you're able to in this park, I should also say, and he's really, really good at staying close to me. He's super well behaved in that aspect, and I never worry about him, and from what I've seen, nobody's there because it's like midnight in this park. Like I said, I start to hear this chanting noise, and so I stop for a minute in dead silence, and I'm like, Ace, come here. And so Ace freezes because he sees me freeze, and I'm trying to listen to where this noise is coming from when it completely stops. And that's when I hear what sounds like rustling of movement. And I look over towards a picnic table, and I see in the center of a picnic table, now that my eyes have adjusted, there's some sort of, I wouldn't even say candle. I want to say that maybe it almost, I mean, I'm blind, so take that for what it is, but it's it looked like a candle, but it looked like it was in a little cauldron or a little pot type thing, and it was sitting in the center of the picnic table. So my initial reaction very quickly was, oh, someone's here, they're having a candle lit, maybe they're drinking with this candlelight in the middle of the picnic bench, I don't know. So I take a look and I tell Ace to come, and I'm a little bit hesitant towards it, and that's when my eyes really focus in. And I can see that there's multiple people sitting around this picnic table, but they're hooded. So they're all wearing literally what looks like what's the word I want to say? Almost poncho style hoods. So loose and baggy and over their heads, so I completely can't see their faces. So when I start to notice them, and mind you, Ace keeps trying to wander back off now because he wants to sniff around, and I'm like, Ace, stop, and I'm trying to be quiet because I'm trying to vibe out the situation and see is this teenagers sitting around doing whatever, who is this? And that was when I noticed that they all turn their heads to look towards me. Someone says, come here. And I'm like, are they saying this to me? So at this point, I'm like, Ace, let's go. We're gonna leave now. And I start calling Ace to come leave with me. And that was when I see from the trees behind a couple other of these hooded. It looked, I couldn't see if they were like what they were wearing. Like it was really hard to see because they were pretty far. But I see these other hooded people coming out of like the tree area towards them, and they're all staring right at me and Ace. So I get this sinking feeling in my stomach. I'm like, this is not safe. This is not right. Like something is off here. So I'm like, Ace, let's go, buddy, let's go. And I go to put him on his leash and someone says, don't leave. So now I'm like completely flustered and I feel sick to my stomach, and I don't even take the time to put Ace's harness back on. I just scoop him up and start running. And two of the people from the picnic bench stand up and they shout out after me, come back, where are you going? And these are male voices, by the way, I should note. I don't know if there was females there too, but it was a male voice that was saying these things to me. And so I start running straight towards my building, like not even looking back. Ace is in my arms. He's so flipping confused why we're running back to the apartment. I get inside, I close the door, I freak out, I call people. I'm like, I just had the creepiest experience. Like these people were calling for me. At first and foremost, everyone was like, Hailey, what in the world were you doing? Leaving your apartment to a park alone with your 7-pound dog in the middle of the night? Like common sense. And they're not wrong. Common sense, Hailey. But like I said, it's naive and it's stupidity and lesson learned. Anyways, so initially they're all freaking out and upset with me for having done that. But the only thing that everyone found weird was that they were all hooded. Like just like the way that they all looked like they were wearing a very similar hood. So flash forward to the next day, my mom comes over and she was like, what were you doing at that park? Like whatever. And I started to tell her how like I saw them with like this like thing in the center of the table and they were all hooded, and a couple others came out from like the forest area and they were telling me to come back. And my mom's like, that doesn't sound right. And so she's like, why don't we go to the park and kind of like look around that area and see if like there's anything strange. So my mom and I bring Ace and he finally gets to go on his walk to the park. And so we go to the park, and here's where things get creepy and really weird and just ugh. I should explain that this picnic table wasn't on grass. It was actually on like this like cement paved area of the park. Like there's a bunch of different picnic tables by this like gazebo thing, and it's on concrete, so you could see the floor very easily. And when we walked up to the specific table that they'd been seated at the night before, there was a salt circle around it. But where it gets even weirder is there was like drips of blood, or what looked like blood, on the picnic table. So my mom and I just thought that it was the creepiest, weirdest thing ever. And in the moment, we're like, let's get the heck away from this. Like, I didn't want to be anywhere near it. I didn't want to touch it. I didn't want to look at it. Nothing. So we decided to go back to my condo. And we're talking about it with Grams, and we're talking about it with everybody. And my Gram was like, oh my gosh, like, what if you came across people doing some sort of like rituals or sacrifices because the salt circle and like little drips of blood. And by little drips of blood, I don't mean like mass amounts of blood. Like it wasn't anything wild, but there was red stuff on the table that looked like dried up blood. And my grandma was like, you should go back and take a picture of it, because if you're gonna make a video on it, she's like, people will want to see what it looked like and maybe somebody will know what the heck to do with it. So I was like, okay. It was already nighttime again now by the time we had this conversation with Graham. So I was like, in the morning, I'll go back to the picnic table and I'll get a picture of this salt circle and the little drips of blood. And when I went back to the table the next day, as ridiculous and convenient as this sounds, there was no salt circle anymore, which could have just blown away. But like the picnic table also didn't seem to have like any drips of blood on it. To the point where I walked to multiple different tables to see like, wait, did I see a different table yesterday? Like, where would that be? Because the salt not being there anymore, I could process in my brain. I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like, I waited a long time. I should have took the flipping picture when I first saw it. Like, Hailey, how stupid are you? Again. But instead, it didn't seem probable or likely that the little like drips of blood or blood on the table would be gone. But sure enough, they were. Basically, overall, no matter what in the heck they were doing, no matter if they were really some sort of a cult or if they were doing some sort of a ritual, what I did by going out there alone was so stupid. It was so dangerous. And so please, please, please take this as a cautionary tale of never ever do that. Be very careful with where you're going after dark, and just really make sure that you're putting your safety first, because even if you feel like it's a safe area, you just never know. the fact that they acknowledged me and they didn't want me to leave regardless of their intent or what in the heck they were doing, it's just so creepy to me, and it gives me a really unsettled feeling in my stomach. So I figured I would film this video because maybe some of you would know what that could have been. But on top of that, just really as a cautionary tale of put your safety first. It would be better to have a dog that's grumpy about not getting walked than to have put yourself in a really dangerous situation. What do you guys think of it? What I'm thinking back is like, okay, you know what? It could have just been that they all had hoods on. They were just hanging out. Maybe they were teenagers doing things that they shouldn't have been doing, or whatever the case may be. But the salt circle was really weird to me, and I'm so mad at myself, like to my core, that I didn't think to take a picture the moment that I saw it. I think that I was just so creeped out thinking about the fact that I put myself there with whatever was going on in the middle of the night at the park. I don't know. That is basically my story time for you guys. I know that it seems like I'm always putting myself into crazy situations, and I definitely know that a lot of the time some of these stories seem ridiculous and unbelievable, but this is truly, like, to my core what happened, and I wanted to share it with you guys for numerous reasons. So if you guys have any opinions on what you think I stumbled across, make sure you drop your comments down below. But other than that, that's it for today's video. Also, please, please, please make sure you guys are giving me your video requests, because like I said, I'm gonna be uploading 5 videos a week, and I really wanna know what you guys wanna see in those videos, so drop your requests down below and let me know. Also, make sure that you're subscribed to my second channel, Daily Hailey, link in the description, and that you're following me on both Instagram and Twitter down in the description as well, because I have a lot of giveaways up my sleeve right now, and I'm going to be doing them spread out through all platforms. So you'll have a better chance of winning a giveaway if you are keeping up on all of that. But that is it for today's video. If you guys are new to my channel, make sure you go ahead and click that subscribe button. And please give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Please don't be stupid like me. Put your safety first. And yeah, remember, my loves, do all things with kindness. And until next time, I love you guys.